welcome to the second episode of our sit-down talk show, California Wiffle Ball League. Today, we have a very special treat for you. We are going to be having two exclusive interviews with the Base Invaders captain, Brendan Chipp, and the Sea Dogs captain, Matthew Sikich. We will be asking them some questions, and here we go. Let's go into what we're going to be talking about today. The first thing we're going to be talking about is the California Wiffle Ball League schedule. We're going to be going over what days we start and who plays each week. So our first opening day is January 2nd. And Bradley, you're playing in this game. What do you expect from this?
Well, I'm gonna pitch 2 out of the 3 games, so I'm just expecting maybe a blowout from us. At least 2-1 from this team. I think our team got better by trading Max away for Brody, and I think that our team is just a better team, and Brody seems pumped about he getting on my team, and I think our team's stacked now, so I think we'll go at least 2-1.
On January 9th, my Red Hawks plays Noah, who still do not have a team name yet. This is also a best out of 3. All the games are going to be best out of 3 except some of them in the World Series. I expect a really good game out of this one. Derek probably pitches a couple games and Noah pitches a game or 2. We don't really know who's going to pitch that game. And then January 16th, the final 2 teams meet up, the Base Invaders versus the Sea Dogs. Those 2 captains that are meeting, we are going to be interviewing with them today. I expect a pretty close game that's interdivisional, just like Dinger Nation and Golden Eagles. So I expect a really good, like a dog match, just like Sea Dogs.
Mm-hmm.
January 23rd, Dinger Nation versus Noah. That is an inter-squad match too. Like I said, I just expect big time play against each other. It's going to be a dogfight too. And then January 30th, the final series of January is the Golden Eagles and Sea Dogs. And then February 6th, Red Hawks and Base Invaders.
Yeah.
Just all very good games that could go either way. And then heading into the first week of February 6th February 13th, the second week is when we cut it off. That is the halfway point. Everyone has played 6 games in total. So February 13th is our All-Star game and Home Run Derby. So we are going to be holding 10 All-Star game players and 10 Home Run Derby players. Then heading into the final 2 weeks of February, we have Dinger Nation and Sea Dogs and Golden Eagles and Red Hawks. Golden Eagles and Red Hawks is going to be a very tough match. It's me and Bradley over here. It's going to be a big-time fight, and I can't wait to see what happens there. And now heading into March, we got Base Invaders and Noah, Sea Dogs and Red Hawks, Base Invaders and Dinger Nation, and Golden Eagles and Noah. So Noah's playing 2 times this month. Base Invaders play 2 times this month too. So it's going to be a grind for them. Their pitchers got to save their arms. And then right at the beginning of April 3rd, is the start of the playoffs. So that's where the American League number 2 seed and number 3 seed play each other, best of 3. April 10th, number 2 seed and number 3 seed in the National League play each other. So the number 1 seeds on both conference get a bye. April 17th and April 24th, the championships for each side. What are your early predictions? Who's going to make the American League Championship and National League Championship?
Well, first of all, I think the Base Invaders and the Red Hawks are just great teams, so I think those will be in the championship.
Mm-hmm. And then the National League is the Dinger Nation, Golden Eagles, and Noah. So
I think that it'll be me and the
Dinger Nation.
Yeah, and Dinger Nation, because Noah's an okay team, but if they come out like stellar and they get good trades before we start playing, then it'll be a good team.
Yeah, National League can go either way. And then, so the whole and all of April we play as playoffs. And then May 1st and May 8th. May 8th is if necessary. May 1st is the first 3 games of the World Series. It's best out of 5. So if a team sweeps, we would not play May 8th. But if there was someone that needed to win, if someone else won, we would go into May 8th and play the last 2 games. That one is if necessary. Who are your World Series predictions?
Well, not to jinx anything or the Deer Nation and the Red Hawks, because I think just Cam's team is a really good team.
So I'm gonna go Red Hawks and Dinger Nation. I think Bradley's just gonna. Red Hawks and Golden Eagles. Bradley's gonna come up clutch in the playoffs. He had a really good trade with Brody. He got Brody, brought that team in, and I think he's gonna make a playoff surge. Bradley will pitch every single game. So yeah. So that is our schedule. We're going to be going into trades that happened. We're going to be discussing.
So we are one-on-one with the manager of the Base Invaders, Brandon Chipp. So let's get right into this.
So your first question, what is your goal going into this season?
Well, it's the first season, so I just like to get my feet wet and see how it is. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but I think it'd definitely be cool to make a run for the ship this year. I'd like to see my players grow and get better, both as a team and individually. I think if I can manage my team well and if they can execute well, then we can do some real damage this year.
Yeah, that is true. Well, when we had your tournaments, you seemed like a pretty good manager, and were one of the first managers I had to call because I knew you'd be good.
And we were just talking before we had this interview about the trade that went down. You sending Gavin Dulaney over to the Sea Dogs with Matthew's team, and you got Carson Lower in return. What made you want to pull the trigger on that trade?
I haven't really seen any of them play, so it was more of a gut feeling. I don't know. I just had a feeling that it'd be good to trade him away and get Carson instead. For some reason, I like having older kids on my team just because I can relate to them more, so I feel I can manage them better. So that's probably the main reason. But I feel it was the right decision, but I really hope it turns out well in the end.
Yeah, Gavin, he was more of a pitcher than a hitter. With Carson, you're going to get more hitting than pitching. Gavin was going to be your third pitcher that probably wouldn't have pitched at all on your team. So it was good for both sides. You got a hitter, and Matthew got the pitcher that he was looking for.
So is there any sneak peeks on a shirt design or a jersey design if you were to make one? Because your logo looked pretty good.
I've had some ideas in mind. I'd probably base it off of jerseys that I've had in the past. Maybe words across the front and then numbers, or I just do logo up top and then numbers on the bottom and last names on the back. I don't know yet. I'm still thinking about it. So I definitely want it to look good.
Yeah, the season doesn't start for another 1.5 months, and you don't play for another 2 months. So you could still show up at for the first 2 weeks and just watch some of the players and scout them if you were wanting to make a trade. Another one I was going to ask you is, why is your team such a contender already? Or looking at your roster, a lot of the captains are looking at you as one of the top teams, one of the top contenders.
I honestly don't know. I haven't seen any of the kids play that are on my team. If people are thinking that, then clearly I must have drafted well. Well, that's good. Drafted well.
You did draft well. You did draft very well.
I did have a good draft, I guess, but I just gotta make sure that I can keep everyone healthy and that they're executing to their top level, and I'll do the same for them, and hopefully that can really help us out this season.
So, Are you, we kind of moved back the mounds from like our summer tournaments or whatever. You still think you're going to bring the same energy and bring the same velocity as you did with our tournaments into the season?
Of course, yes. I'm always going to try to do that. I love trying to blow it by people. Even if it doesn't always work, then it's still fun too. I feel that I have better command of my pitches for the most part when I can really dial it in and just throw. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully, well, I don't think it'll be that much of an effect, but if it is, I can always learn to adapt to it. Yeah, learn to adapt to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not too far back. It's still, like, I think it's like 38 feet, 40 feet maybe.
Okay.
Not too far. So, I don't know if you saw the rule book or whatever, but in the during the regular season, we had a rule that in the 3-game series, you were only allowed to pitch 6 innings in regulation, not counting extra innings. So do you have a game plan of like how many innings you're gonna pitch and how many innings any of your other players are gonna go?
What I do with my other league and my other teams, as long as people are feeling well and they know that they can get it, then I'll just let them throw. Now there will be a time we'll all have to kind of make a game plan of who I want to throw and who I want to save based on who we're going to face next week. I think, like you mentioned earlier, scouting is going to be a big thing because I can see, okay, is it worth throwing this guy against this guy if my team can produce runs off of our opponent. Gonna try to play it as it goes off the best teams, if that makes any sense. Like, I'll try to manage our best pitchers against the best teams, just to keep them healthy and make sure they can dial in.
Yeah, and once you get to the playoffs, all those pitching restrictions are off. You can pitch whenever you want, how many innings you want, just so you can make a run at the playoffs. So if you're the worst team in the league because you barely pitched your number 1 pitcher, saving for the playoffs, then you could just pitch in the whole league, the whole playoffs. So, your first opponent is the Sea Dogs with Matt. They're going into the season. They didn't have a top roster, and over the past couple days, Matthew's been getting some guys and trading for some people. Did you have a game plan before, and is it changing, or has it just been the same throughout?
It's kind of always been play to win, no matter what the game is. I think it's gonna be cool, especially since we had some trades between each other. So that's really where it's gonna test. Okay, was it actually worth trading this kid to get another kid? So I'm curious to see that. Yeah, pretty much the game plan is to win. I'm sure he's got a good team, and from what I've heard, we've got a great team. So I think it's going to be a battle all season.
Mm-hmm. A lot of the teams have a lot of good pitching, a lot of good hitting. There's a lot of teams that are
4 teams that are like the exact same. They could go either way. But your schedule, you play every team, but the Golden Eagles, which is Bradley's team. And I remember in the tournaments, you always were saying Bradley was one of the number 1 pitchers. So is that going to be a little easier for you because you don't get to play him?
I hope so. I mean, that kid can throw. He knows how to find the zone and throw hard. So I think it'll make it much easier for us knowing that we don't have to worry about him in the regular season. We'll probably have to face him in the playoffs, but
you guys are not in the same conference, so the only time you could see him this year is in the championship.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah. I think I'll kind of always have him in the back of my mind, and I'm just ready to go, ready to face whoever's gonna go after us.
Yeah. So, final question. What is one thing that your team has that no other team has to offer?
Well, I can't really answer this one to give it an exact answer because, like I said, I haven't really seen anyone play on my team. One thing that I'll be looking for.
To be honest, I think it's just you. I think it's you. No one else has your velocity. No one else could find the ball and hit it out of the park if it hits your bat. That's what I would think your team has that no one else has.
Okay, well, I appreciate that. There's a bunch of great people in this league, so I think it's going to be a battle constantly. I'm just excited and ready to get going and play some wiffle ball.
Oh yeah. Well, thank you so much for having this interview.
Yeah, thanks for.
So that was the interview with Brennan Chipp, the manager of the Base Invaders. The next interview that we're going to be talking about with is the Sea Dogs manager and Matthew Sikich. He's going to have a lot of stuff to offer, so here we go. All right. So in this past week, there's been a lot of stuff going down. You guys already saw the rumor and trade that went down. Now, me and Bradley are going to be talking about exactly what happened and how this is going to really affect our team, their teams. So, when we bring along the Sea Dogs captain Matthew, we're going to be talking about the trade, but we're just going to go over what he did right now. So, the Sea Dogs traded Carson Lowe away, and the Base Invaders traded away Gavin Dulaney. So, Matthew got Gavin Dulaney for his team and traded away Carson Lowe. What do you think of this? How's this going to help him?
I like this trade. Gavin's obviously a better player, but we haven't saw Carson Lowe before, so he could come out very good for that team.
He has a chance that Matthew took. He has a chance. And then the Sea Dogs traded Brody Krupp away, and the Golden Eagles traded away Max Narisan.
As I said before, I love this trade because just looking at the scouting reports, all of Brody's stats are better than Max's. So I thought this was an awesome trade for me.
And Brody seems pretty committed.
Yeah.
And
he was pretty pumped about being on my team.
Pretty pumped. Matthew is still thinking about possible trades he could do, but nothing is official right now. So let's head into our exclusive interview with Brendan Chipp. We're going to be asking him a bunch of questions, and he's going to be answering and giving us his full intake of his team. Today's interview is going to be Matthew Sikich, the captain of the Sea Dogs. So we're just going to be asking him some questions, and he's going to be answering and giving us some great answers. We are here with Matthew Sikich, the captain of the Sea Dogs. Thank you for taking your time to do this interview. First question I have for you today is, what is your goal going into the season?
My goal is to win as many games as possible and make it past the first round of the playoffs and have a winning season.
And you made a lot of trades this offseason. You're the most active team in the league. You drafted Ryan Bartell in the first round, and then you traded that for Derek, then you traded that for Brody, and you ended up trading Brody for Max. What caused you to trade and make all those decisions?
I probably shouldn't have traded Ryan. That was probably a bad decision, but I needed a pitcher, so I just tried to make a bunch of trades and get a pitcher.
And then the second trade that you made was you drafted Carson and you traded him for Gavin. Do you think that was a good trade or a bad trade?
I think it was a pretty good trade because just adds another pitcher.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I was thinking. That was the one thing that you needed in the draft, was to draft a pitcher, and you did pretty good by looking with some trades. So you were one of the last teams to come up with a name, the second to last team, and you came up with the Sea Dogs. What was your inspiration? What made you come up with that?
I just looked up cool logos, and it looked like a sea dog, so it looked cool, and I thought the name was pretty good.
So a lot of teams are making jerseys and stuff. Do you have any sneak peeks on what your jersey is going to look like?
I designed one, but it didn't really. It worked, but I thought it was pretty cool. I used a color that made me ship like 48, so I stopped designing it.
So are you just going to run out? Are you just going to come out with just gray shirts and run that with the season?
Probably.
So your first matchup in the year is on January 18th. No, January 15th. Or somewhere around there. January, I think, like 16th. And you're going to be playing Chipp, which is a division rival. You are in the division with me and Chipp. So do you have any like game plan going into playing against Chipp to win those games?
Probably just to play good defense and pitch well. Paint the corners a little bit.
Do you know who your game one starter is going to be?
Probably Gavin.
Probably Gavin. All right. So, like, what are your thoughts on the league? Like, how do you think the draft and everything was orchestrated? And like, what's your opinion on like how good the players are?
I think it's pretty organized draft, and I think the players are pretty good. I think it's gonna be fun season.
And so the worst that you could do is be the worst team in the league, but have the first pick in the draft, which could land you a top player. Is that what you're thinking of doing, like tanking, or are you wanting to win right away?
I want to win right away. I need to win.
All right. So what is your prediction on like how well you're gonna do?
12-0. No, probably 7-5.
7-5. Who do you think is the best team in the league, and who do you think is the worst team in the league?
Dinger Nation is the best, I think, because they have more players. And the worst team, I don't know. Noah's team. Noah's team.
So that was the interview with Matthew Sikich. Hope you guys like it. That is the end for this talk show today. Hope you guys liked it.